student's standpoint. Imagine once a student starts coming to the higher education, 11th and 12th grade, and a lot of students aspire to go and study abroad, or even in the country. Financial planning is a subject in itself. How many of you agree with me? You can raise your hands. For students to understand from a very basic level what is financial planning and how they can easily apply for a loan, plus how can repay that loan. And that's where we are partnered with Credila. Credila also is a known organization helping a lot of students in the country to fulfill their dreams, and that's where we have Garima with us from Credila. Garima, can you please enlighten the spectators here what is Credila doing and how they're adding value?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Bharat. Thanks for that introduction. So, as I mentioned, I am from Credila Financial Services. We are an NBFC into education loans. But I'll start with a small story as to how we started. So that will give you a bit of background in terms of what we do and where we are placed in the market. So Credila was actually started by two brothers who wanted to go to US for their MS studies. And they found it extremely difficult to get finance in India. So they were highly talented. They got into one of the top universities. But it was very difficult for them to get financing for their loan. So they did manage to somehow complete the studies. They came back to India and they identified this is a huge gap because there are huge barriers to finance when it comes to education. And that is how Credila started. So we started with the mission of making education accessible. And that is what we have been doing for the last 20 years. We have been in the market for almost 2 decades now. We have funded almost 2.5 lakh students. We have funded them for multiple countries, multiple universities, India, abroad, everywhere. So when we talk of SDG goals, when we talk of quality education, a very, very important aspect is access to education. And that is what we bring. We are extremely passionate about this sector. We look at these students. So when we are assessing a student, we look at his credentials, his potential, what have been his academic records. Any talented student should not lose out on a future simply because they do not come from a strong background. That is where we are. So our entire assessment is heavily based on the talent that the student brings to the table and what kind of future he can have. Right? And that is what we also tell students, do not be limited by where you come from. And we are there to support. We support 100% of the education cost, including travel, laptop, everything that the student might need. So anybody coming from a weaker section also would have the access that he deserves. In line with this, we also have programs for the EWS category. We are designing special programs for girl child. So these are the kind of things that we are doing. Apart from this, as I said, we come from a place of extreme passion for education itself. So in line with this, we do a lot of sessions around financial literacy and awareness. We do it for both students as well as parents. So these are not sessions on loans per se. We teach them about taking financial decisions. They would be earning in a couple of years, right? So what do you do with your investments? How do mathematical concepts apply to these decisions? What happens to your wealth? These are the type of questions that we talk about because these are extremely important at every decision point in their life, right? And these have high impact. And we have realized even parents are not sometimes very aware about these things in terms of how to go about taking those decisions. So we do these sessions in schools. GoSharpener has been a great partner with us in this mission, and they are helping us do these sessions in schools. We also customize it in case there are any special requirements from the school. So you have QR codes at your tables. You can scan that. You can indicate interest in a session or the type of session that you would want, and we would love to do it. A lot of schools ask us if these are paid sessions. So I would just like to say that these are not paid sessions. We do not charge anything, and This comes from a deeper place of passion for the education sector as a whole. We work a lot with universities, and we are now trying to work with schools because we want to get to the student early. So we already have very deep connects with Indian universities, foreign universities. But we realize that this is something which has to start early, because in school, once they pass out, that is where they are taking these decisions, right?
Yeah, in fact, sorry if I interrupt you. Students are even getting smarter.
Yes, they are.
They know which course, which direction. So
Yes.
I mean, it's always good to start at a early age rather than it's too late.
So that is how we are now coming to the level of schools and trying to engage as early as possible, making them aware, so that even the first decision that they take out of school, right, the first college that you go to, they should not limit their dreams, and they should be aware of ways to handle their finances independently. So that's our mission, and thanks Bharat for giving us this platform to address
No, thanks,
this wonderful crowd.
Garima, for sharing those insights.
So that is